Today, we're talking to John Buck, owner of Buck Farms, a 2,000-acre corn and soybean farm in New Bloomington, Ohio. John is the inaugural winner of the Biostimulant Innovator of the Year award, sponsored by Valent Biosciences. Congratulations, John. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the honor that was given upon me.
So, what inspired you to start using biostimulants in your farming operation?
Well, years ago, my dad always said that if we continue to do the same thing, we're going to see the exceptional results. And I served on a lot of different. Well, years ago, my dad always said that if we continue to do the same thing, we're going to see the exceptional results. And I served on a lot of different boards over the years, soybean council, farm bureaus, and those, and you learn about new products and new innovations. And I learned that there was a lot more that we're looking at besides just NP and K on our farm. And so I really started to explore into that. There's something in there that's a biostimulant. I really started a lot with seed treatments, was where I first found some of the easiest ways to start incorporating it in.
And then I know we talked a little bit about evaluating the success of these products from season to season. How do you do that?
Well, I think it's important. There's a lot of farmers that will try things, but they don't really know if they say, well, I don't know that it worked. And, the fact is you need to try and find a way that you can quantify that. A lot of times I'll use, whether it's a weigh wagon or I'll use the visual determination, sometimes is proof enough, but everybody wants to see it in the yield and the ROI at the end of the day. So that being said, I'll use the combine yield monitors, I'll use weigh wagons, I'll use independent parties, whatever I've got to do to measure that success. Wherever I do trials, I will make sure I've replicated that with or without a product.
Perfect. And then when you look overall at the biggest change, you've seen in your operation since incorporating biostimulants, what would you say that would be?
I'll use health as an example, and I'm going to go, that's a broad one. We're talking soil health, we're talking plant health, even products that are healthier for me to handle or to be around, or my daughter who, someday will kick me off the farm and take over. So it's those different pieces of puzzle so the health piece of it really is a big factor.
And as you talk to other farmers, what advice do you think you'd give them, especially those who are skeptical or just getting started with biostimulants?
Spent a lot of time educating a lot of farmers. It's to try something. Don't just sit there and foo-foo it or say, no, it doesn't work, but to really ask the questions, explore the questions within your farm. There's a lot of people out here trying to sell a lot of products, and some days it gets really cluttered and really muddy. So as we were talking the other night, find a trusted source. A buddy of mine, Brian Tully with Newfields Ag, is the one that used that phrase once, and I'll always use that back, saying, if you want to use university back details, if you want to use your farmer friend, if you want to use a seed company, chemical company, doesn't matter what, but what's your trusted source, and then follow that through and ask questions and be more in depth than you can be in any other way.
And then what do you think, as we look to the future, the role of biostimulants will be for farms?
Wow, that's a very good question. I think it's going to be huge. The big thing is one size doesn't fit all in this application. And there's farmers, depending on size and that, some will do all the right things. And I use an example. We had one that was working with once that he was 5,000 acres, was using some biostimulants, and all of a sudden said, well, I don't think it's working. I'm not going to use it. And I just looked at him and said, well, you never left any check to know that it, what it was without it. And that really threw a question mark at him and say, oh, wait a minute, you're right. And then he did and found out that, I was seeing success using those products. That would be dumb to get rid of that. But we're going to see this custom tailored. There's less and less farm ground every single day, and we've got to get better production out of it, but also the regulations that we are. I live in the Lake Erie watershed. I farm where one of my farms splits to the Lake Erie watershed to the Gulf of Mexico. So my water can flow both ways off that farm. I can't blame a neighbor for anything. Runoff is going to be from me if there is. So I've got to be the best steward of the land that I can. And we've done that on our farm before. We've been nationally recognized for our stewardship and conservation here on the farm too. And biologicals play a big, big factor into that.
That's great. And then what would you say receiving this recognition means to you personally and professionally?
I think that for me, when I found out about it, I was glad to see that all the work that we've been putting in, and I say we in the farm, my guys that help me, and trying to explore this opportunity of biologicals and biostimulants and what's that mean, that it's finally paying off, that I guess enough people seeing it or recognizing it. And I'm glad that I was nominated for this and chosen as the winner, because I spent a lot of years for the last 15 plus years educating farmers about different biologicals and the use of them and how important it's going to be into their farm. And the fact is, it just keeps growing and growing. It's going to be a huge part of our farms from now on.
Thank you so much, John. Congratulations again.
Thank you.